Did you party last night? Do you want to forget? Did you party last night? And now you regret? Well, Andrew's in the house and he wants to get your party story. Did you party last night and you woke up today? Did you party last night and you got something to say? Well, Andrew's in the house and he wants to get your party story. Party story. Party story. Party story. Yeah.
Hey everybody, I'm back. It's me, Andrew Youngblood, with another edition of Party Stories. Today's guest is a buddy and a Houston comic now.
Yeah.
Moved from Hawaiian comic from, I can only assume, the middle of America somewhere. I don't know where Mormons come from, but that's what I'm
heaven.
assuming. But a good comic nonetheless. Steve Cantwell, welcome to the show.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, this is great. Where are you from? I have no idea. So this is the front part where I get to know people.
I was actually born and raised in a little tiny Mormon town up in the, I was born at 6,200 feet above sea level up in the Rocky Mountains in a little Mormon town that my family stole from the Indians. Fair and square, a little town called Logan. Nobody's ever heard of that, Utah State
Logan,
University.
Utah.
Yeah.
That's Utah. I have no idea. I know where the Rocky Mountains are, but I couldn't name the states they're in.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, well, I hope he tells us because I won't have any idea. What was that like growing up there?
It was a sterilized snow globe in a lot of ways. Like virtually every single kid that I went through elementary, junior high, and high school with was Mormon. Every single...
Was it a Mormon high school, or
Yeah.
was it like a public high school in a Mormon town?
It was a public high school in a Mormon town, but virtually every person that lived in that town was Mormon.
That seems wild.
Yeah. And that's if you're going to have a religion that makes no logical sense, the best way to keep everybody believing in that religion is if everybody else is also playing that game.
Yeah. I don't know much about being Mormon.
Yeah.
I've never been. I feel like I knew some
Yeah.
Mormons growing up because I lived in upstate New York.
Yeah.
And doesn't it have to do a lot with upstate New York somehow?
Yeah.
Right? Like Elmira?
Yeah.
See, I know
Palmyra.
very little. What Palmyra?
Yeah.
Well, there's an Elmira and a Palmyra.
This was
That's
the
why I don't know.
Palmyra.
The Palmyra.
Yeah.
And Eli.
Joseph Smith.
Joseph. I don't know. What.
Eli Whitney.
Yeah, I don't know who that is, but who's that guy?
Cotton gin guy.
Oh, yeah. Well, I get my cotton gin and my Mormon religion mixed up.
Yeah. That's an
Yeah.
easy mistake to make.
So, yeah. So, John Smith.
Joseph
Palmyra.
Smith. Palmyra, New York. Upstate New York. You
Good
know.
thing a lot of Mormons don't listen to my podcast, probably. So I don't think I'll get a lot of hate mail.
You might be surprised. Mormons are out there living vicariously through everybody.
Especially when the title of this one will be like Mormon comic.
They'd be like, "Oh my God,
Oh, we've got one.
one escaped."
Yeah, you don't consider yourself Mormon now, do you?
Technically, I am still Mormon. They will have to. I'm not gonna quit. I'm gonna make them kick my ass out.
Oh man,
So
they haven't.
they have not yet.
Why not? I feel like I've known Mormons who've gotten kicked out for much less.
If-
I don't know what you've done, but I'm just
I've done
assuming.
everything now.
Yeah.
Yeah, they would definitely kick me out if I go to ground long enough. It's just a matter of time. But it's just a better story if I make them kick me out. And there's a way that you can resist it in some way. And they have a court, that they.
What if you just don't show up?
Well, that's what everybody does, and just gets kicked out. But if you actually go and vehemently defend yourself, it's like a way better story.
So yeah, it will be, but you have to go to Utah.
No, they'll do it here.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
they'll
do
bring
it.
people here. You
Yep.
just got to go to the local.
They'll do it at my local branch there.
You have a local branch here
Yeah, right around the corner from my house in Spring.
that you've gone to.
No, I've never been there.
I know people have gone to that one.
Oh, really?
Weirdly enough, and they've been kicked out, and then they brought back and kicked out and brought back. I know 3 people that I used to get drunk with when I was 22 that
used to
go in and out all the time.
Wow.
And it's kind of I think I don't know a lot about the religion or the whole thing, but
Yeah.
it seems kind of like a mind fuck. Like it
For
really
sure.
fucks with people growing up because their parents are usually obviously. Kids aren't just like, I'm going to be Mormon one day. That rarely happens, I imagine.
Almost never.
Yeah. And so it's forced on them by their parents who have extreme beliefs in this. And then they find out that their kid's doing right. And they kick their kids out of it. And they're like, we're not talking to you anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can live here, maybe. Maybe. But we're not talking to you. And so then, they go crazy or they move out and essentially lose their parents.
Yeah.
And then it just seemed like a mind fuck.
People get shunned all the time.
Yeah.
It happened to me,
You got shunned. And now are you unshunned?
I mean, I have brothers that won't talk to me, and I have brothers that will talk to me.
In spring. Well,
No.
you don't know a lot of people in spring, right?
No, not too many.
Have you ever gone to the thing in spring?
No.
Okay, so you're essentially, nobody knows you're Mormon in
No.
spring.
No.
So when you go to court in spring...
So they would have to find me in spring somehow. And then they would have to send me a letter, a summons, telling me of my church court. And then they would bring me in, and they would read out all of the, accusations
Are they
against
looking
me.
for you?
No.
All right.
I mean, not until they hear this podcast.
Well, I'm going to post it on some kind of Logan, Oregon, Utah.
Yeah.
There we go. That's all. That area is all the same to me.
It's all a
that's not true.
mishmash.
Oregon's great. Portland, that's cool.
I bet you know where every town in Texas is, and that's the most important thing.
Well, we're our own thing.
Yeah.
No, I know where other cities are. I have to be in a big state, though. I know California.
Yeah.
I know Texas. I know Florida even. I know New York. I know Washington probably a little bit.
Yeah.
I know 2 cities in Oregon, Eugene and Portland. I think that's all there is.
I think so.
Utah. I know Salt Lake City because I saw the movie. And I'm sure there's other places here in America, but are they worth going to? Chicago's great.
I've never been.
Oh, you got to go. When you live in Houston, it's great because it's really cheap to fly from Houston. We're both hubs, so it costs me like round trip ticket like $80.
Really?
Yeah, it's great, and it's a great comedy city. You got to go up there, do a bunch of shows, come back. It's great. I don't know. I like it a lot. It's one of my favorite places to go.
Never been to Chicago. Never been to New York City.
We should probably do both.
Yeah.
You've been in Hawaii for a long time though.
Hawaii and Alaska.
Why have you been in Hawaii? Well, wait, and Alaska.
Yeah.
Are they close?
Yeah, pretty much.
How close?
3,000 or 4,000 miles. But
That doesn't seem very close.
Hawaii-
What's a flight?
it's just the next state over, really. It's just 4,000 miles of dark, cold ocean between Hawaii and Alaska.
What's the flight like?
5 hours, 6
Oh,
hours.
that's not so bad.
Something like that. Yeah.
That's not bad at all.
One
5 to 6
ambient
hours.
away.
It's longer from LA to Hawaii.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's I went to Hawaii. That's where I met you.
Yeah.
We did a show together.
That's right.
And I met you there. You weren't a nice guy. No, I'm just kidding. That's not true. That's not true. But you know what I did pick up, and this is a thing that a lot of comics do, and I've done it. I'm guilty of it in the past. Is when you meet someone who's a comic, right?
Yeah.
And you're like, hey, nice to meet you, and you're kind of like not necessarily dismissive.
Yeah.
But you're just like, bleh. But then you see them go up, and they're like, oh, they did pretty good.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, hey, man.
Yeah,
And you're
yeah,
nice
yeah.
to the guy.
Yeah.
And that's what I felt happen. And
Probably.
maybe not.
Maybe, yeah.
But maybe you thought I did awful. I
You
don't
seemed
know.
nice, and you did well.
Well, thanks. That's what I go for. Nice and well.
Yeah, you were there on vacation with
I
your friend
was.
Clay.
I
And,
did. And he did the show, too. And,
Yeah.
and we did a couple other shows that was the best show. And it was like a weird mic show. It was like an open mic, and then like they bring in people to do the end of the show.
Yeah, kind of a hodgepodge of there's an open mic ahead of time and then like a feature show at the end in this karaoke bar. Was that the place you're talking
I don't
about?
know. There was in front of a video screen.
Oh yeah, it was a karaoke club.
It was cool. It was. I will say this. This was the coolest thing I thought about Hawaii comedy while I was there. Is I mean, there were a couple of really good comics that I liked.
Yeah.
And but is that show? There was maybe 10 audience members. Maybe that would be like a really loose, like large overestimate number. Probably I would say.
Yeah.
But there was probably 40 people watching my set.
Yeah.
Because in Hawaii, which is the only place I've ever been to, where after a comic does their set, they go and they sit down and they watch.
Yeah.
And that to me is bananas. And they laugh.
Yeah.
And to me, I wasn't worried because I was like, they've never seen my jokes. But they were laughing at each other's jokes where I'm like, I'm sure you saw this yesterday and the day before that and the day before that.
Yeah.
So that's crazy to me. Like the community there seems very supportive.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing is if you're going to play to mostly comedians, which in Hawaii you mostly are, the two things that you fuck up with on your act is you overwrite and underpolish. So people, they have notebooks of material that they've done, just a handful of times,
Yeah.
and none of so that's the danger of performing to all comedians versus Houston, where you have an actual audience,
Almost every day.
Yeah, almost every day, and then it's bananas how big the audiences are, and you'll go back week after week to the same show, and you'll hardly see the same person twice.
We'll see maybe a couple.
And that was the thing when you told me to like give Houston a look. That blew my mind because I had only done it in Hawaii before, and just that seems to be like what you have to have as a comic. You have to have that constantly flushing toilet of people that have never seen your material before, because you have to do it 1,000 times, to knock all the edges and corners off it so that it's actually polished and good.
Yeah, and you don't want to do the same joke in front of a comic over and over and over again. Yeah. When you're in front of comics and it's mostly comics, that's when I'm like, fuck, I'm just gonna try to do something stupid or like wing it, or like I just want to have something new, so I'm not I don't look stale in front of every single person here. That's what I do anyways. I don't know.
And that's why so much of my material is so dark, because when you're performing in front of mostly comedians, you try to go as dark as you can because you're trying to like break that unbreakable cherry of making a comedian laugh, Yeah. So that's you get too dark and you get too much material that you've not polished.
There's a couple comedian laughs that there's good comedian laughs, and there's also the bad comedian laugh. There's also the really awkward one. Like you ever do a show and it's not going well. Nobody seems to be in it, and then all of a sudden from the back you just hear you just hear that, and you're like, okay, they're not laughing because they thought it was funny. Or maybe they are laughing because it's funny, but they're really laughing about how awkward the whole thing is, and they're probably next.
They're laughing at the dark.
This is what we do. Yeah. This is the indie movie, the dark indie movie of a life that I live.
I waited 3 hours to do this. Just every now and then that will just you look yourself in the mirror and just really think about what it is you spend the evening doing.
Yeah. I've been lucky, and I don't have to wait as much as I used to.
Yeah.
And honestly, I never really waited that much. I'm trying to make myself very hateable for everybody who listens to this. But I was a very privileged guy because I was actually booking comedy before I was doing it.
Yeah.
And then people were always nice to me, and they're like, you want to,
yeah,
that's what it is. Why not use the thing you have to your advantage if you can use it?
I mean, what would it look like to not use it? What are you supposed to do? Say no?
Yeah. No. I'll wait till 1:59.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna go at the end of the line, and I'll watch all these people and kill myself.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
You use what you got. Everyone would do it.
Yeah.
If you had a show that you'd do it. That's what literally there are comics that have shows literally just to get on other people's shows.
Yes.
That's the whole. Like, especially in, like, cities like New York City, L.A., they're like, you got to get a show, you got to make it good, and then people want to do your show. That's how you get on their show.
Quid pro quo, baby.
Fucking goofy.
Yep.
It's a goofy life that comedians live. Let's start talking about what this podcast is about.
All right.
You already know, and the viewers already know. Viewers, they don't watch it. They listen.
Yeah.
Anyways, they already know. It's about parties and introductions into that, and just kind of what it was like growing up. I have no idea what is going to come out of your mouth for this, which is wonderful, because normally I'm like, all right, this guy obviously just got drunk in a basement in the suburbs. This is not what you did.
No.
Let's hear what would be a typical introduction into Mormon party life.
Oh, God. So Mormon party life is mostly about eating carbohydrates. That's
like
really
carbs.
the only thing that's bad for us that they have not yet made against our religion. So you're not allowed any kind of alcohol, weed, nothing like that.
Nothing good.
No, nothing good. So the first party that I had is probably the first party I ever saw that was the saddest goddamn party I've ever seen in my entire life was my buddy's 16th birthday party. And his mother and he had ordered these huge 6-foot-long Subway sandwiches. And
what kind of subs?
just like everything, just whatever you got. And you had all this food and stuff laid out, and not a single person came. It was just me and him, and there was just like this somber attitude of us like putting all the sub stuff away and like freezing this 12 feet of sub sandwich in the freezer because
that's super sad.
I guess
dude.
nobody liked him. But you it was the first year of like high school, so I don't know. Jeez, people weren't feeling it.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That is really sad.
Yeah.
Really bringing this podcast down.
Well, that's the worst party I ever saw.
Oh no. Oh man, that is crazy. No one showed up. I've never had that. I always do think whenever I've thrown a party, and even when I throw shows, I'll have tickets sold to shows, and right like an hour before the show, I'll be pacing around like, I guess nobody's coming.
Yeah.
And then like it'll be like right close to showtime, and I'll literally have like 200 tickets sold. And I'll be like, I guess people just decided that they don't care about their money. They'd rather not come to this. And I'm just like, I just thought, still to this day, after years of putting on shows and doing shows,
Yeah.
I still think no one's coming. No one's coming. Tonight, you're doing a show, Trash Flavor Trash. We do every Tuesday at the Secret Group. Plugged it. Hopefully, it'll still be going in 2 months when this comes out. Very well. But every Tuesday, I feel that way too.
Really?
Every single Tuesday. And sometimes those are real fears on Tuesday. Tuesday night at 10:30 is late.
I mean, we just walked through a packed house to get back here to record this podcast.
It's 8 o'clock on Tuesday.
Yeah.
But I think it'll be packed tonight. It's almost always a really good crowd. Almost always.
I mean, I've seen this place where it's been a packed house in the black box in the little box theater, and it's been a packed house in the big room too. It's a comedy happen place.
We do our best.
Yeah.
We're trying to do the comedy store of the South.
Yeah.
I hope someone says that one day. That'd be a good compliment.
People should start signing the walls.
Yes, let's start it now. Hashtag comedy store of the South. Don't tag our walls. We do have people tag our shit all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is a funny story. I have to tell it. I want to hear more from you, but
all right.
I have to tell this story because we were talking about people tagging.
Yeah.
No, let's not do it. I'm saving it. I changed my mind. I'm editing this part out. So
Okay.
Don't worry about
We
it.
can say whatever we want.
Yes. Let's talk about Hawaii.
Yeah.
Because you went to Hawaii from Utah.
From Alaska.
From Alaska, and I know why. Let's hear why.
Why I moved to Alaska or why I moved to Hawaii?
All right. You know what I'm talking about.
Okay.
How did
So I went, what you're talking about is I went to Alaska because my business partner in Florida had murdered his mother-in-law for the life insurance money, and
How?
he waited for her one morning for her to come out and warm her car up, and he just attacked her with a knife and hacked her to pieces.
Jesus Christ. That's
Yeah.
crazy. I didn't think it was going to be like that.
Yeah, you thought it was going to be a gun.
I've heard the story kind of through just very shortened versions of it.
Yeah.
Not how it happened. Now it's not as fun of a story.
Yeah, I mean, it was horrible what he did, and it was so horrible that when he told me all of the details about
Why would
what
he tell you?
he wouldn't shut up about it. Is the thing that convinced me that he was bullshitting me. Is because if you really had killed your mother-in-law, the last thing you would do was tell your new business partner. It's not like he and I were bros. It's like he'd approached me on the street.
What kind of business was it?
I owned a janitorial company that did commercial janitorial. And he just had approached me one morning on the street when he saw me supervising some guys pressure washing a building, and he told me that he wanted to buy into the company. But it's like he'd been to my home 2 times. It's not like I barely knew him.
Yeah.
And so you would not think that somebody would be that abrupt of amigo to just like, hey, by the way, I killed my mother-in-law for the life insurance money. Don't tell anybody. So I honestly thought that he was fucking with me. So,
Yeah, that's wild to share to someone that you don't know. Like,
Yeah.
I've met you many, many times, and I wouldn't even tell you if I had drugs in my pocket.
Right.
Like, I would tell you no illegal thing that I do, I would tell you
Right.
about.
Oh, why would you? Why would you burden me with that?
I don't know. That's.
And then he wouldn't shut up
sounds
about
like
it.
It's got to be because he. I don't know why you would do. I think maybe he just is guilty. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, killing someone's got to be such a heavy burden.
I can't imagine, especially like.
Did he
that.
need the money or was he greedy?
I mean,
Do
who
you know?
needs the money that bad, really? I mean, God, Jesus, who needs the money?
I mean,
he wasn't addicted to
nobody
anything.
needs the money that bad, but sometimes people really need money, and money
No.
can be such a burden on people where it's like, you're like,
He
you know
did-
what I mean? Where maybe you're losing your house, mortgages, and you
No.
got kids, and you got stuff like that.
It was none of that.
None of that stuff is
No.
good.
Yeah, no, he didn't owe money to a bookie.
Did he have a
you
boat?
know. No,
I
he
don't
just.
know.
I'm telling you, he just.
He's just a bad guy.
Yeah, just a bad guy.
Yeah.
And so, long story short, we turned him in, and they moved me to Alaska to keep an eye on me.
They moved you to Alaska.
Yeah,
From Utah.
from Orlando.
You've been all over the place, man.
Yeah,
That's crazy. From Orlando to Alaska.
yeah.
They'll never find you there.
Never find me in Alaska. 2.5 years I was there waiting for the trial,
And
and then when the trial was over,
what is it
stayed.
like when you move? Okay, so you're in Florida. That happens. They move you. Did you have to? They moved your whole family?
Yeah, my whole family and my little brother.
Whoa. And then do they just put you in a new job up there, or they just pay for everything?
They just paid for everything.
That's kind of nice.
They thought it was going to be 6 months,
Yeah, and then it was 2.5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Were you happy that it was longer, or you're like, I'm so sick of Alaska?
I was sick of just the waiting for the other shoe to drop, thinking that maybe he was going to be found innocent. If he was found innocent, we were going to move to France. We had it all scoped out. We were going to move to Paris and just like start over. We'd gone over a couple of times and checked it out, and that was just our contingency plan. And then he was found innocent, so nothing ever happened to that. But like just that anxiety of waiting for
I mean, he was found guilty.
if he was found innocent, I was gonna leave the country.
Yeah.
But he was found guilty, so I stayed in
Life?
Alaska.
Does he got life?
Life.
That's good.
You
Never
I've
have to worry about it.
I've thought that I would love to interview him now, some 20-something years after he's been in prison.
Why don't you try to visit him?
Yeah, or just I want to videotape it. I want to like do some kind of a video for YouTube or something like that. Just
I
like
don't think he wants to see it.
he might out of just curiosity because he's never spoken to me about.
Why don't you write
this.
him a letter?
I might have a third party write him a letter because I don't want him to just reach out to me through a letter. If he has something to say to me, I want him to say it to me in person.
Yeah.
Because it would be a mind-blowing conversation just for he and I to sit down and me talk to him about from my perspective what happened and him tell me from his perspective what happened because, I'm sure his like hatred for me must keep him warm at night.
Yeah. Whoa. What was his thing when he said that? Did he call you a liar, or did he say it was a joke?
They didn't say anything.
Did you see him when you were giving your
Yeah,
testimony?
yeah. He's sitting at the defense table.
Was he
staring daggers at me
Ooh.
and writing angry things on a legal pad and then like pounding on it with his pen to point at it to his lawyer to get his lawyer's attention, but like in a stabbing motion, which was a super bad look for the story that we were
They're
telling.
like, look, he's stabbing that paper.
Look, he's angry and if he did to that woman what he's doing to that pad of paper.
Oh no,
Yeah,
man.
I think
so that moved you to Alaska, and then you decided to go to Hawaii.
Yeah, so
Did they pay for your move?
No, I lived in Alaska for 10 more years after the murder trial, just on my
Jesus.
own, just
Yeah.
because we liked it at that
Oh,
point.
okay.
And I built a house, just did the full immersion Alaska thing.
Was it the like 30 days of night kind of thing?
It is like that.
That's awesome. I've always wanted to go visit for 2 weeks, just to live that for 2 weeks.
It messes with your head.
I bet.
Even when the sun is just up for a few hours.
And were
it
you
messes
Mormon still at this
Yeah.
point? All right.
And the reason I moved to Hawaii is because we decided to stop being Mormon.
All of you.
Yeah. My family decided first, and then slowly I was convinced. I was a Mormon preacher at the time, so I had even though I knew that it was bullshit because of
Brainwash
the internet.
yourself.
Yeah. I still, because I loved those people, I still stuck around for a couple more years, even when I knew it was baloney, just because I was already in these people's lives, And it just felt weird just to turn my back on everybody and walk away because I knew that they would never talk to me again because like
That's how it works.
yeah,
They
that's
have
how it
to.
works. So
And also, they don't have a lot going on.
No.
So, like, that's their, oh, you hear about this?
yeah, yeah.
Oh.
But they cut you out like a cancer if you stop believing. So we just spared everybody any kind of heartache, and we just took a page out of the book of witness protection, and without telling anybody, we just sort of all of a sudden moved to
Disappeared.
Hawaii. Yep, changed our numbers and
I think
just
there's
started
people
all
that are
over.
just like, I wonder where they went. What happened to that
For
family?
sure, there were.
Has anyone reached out? Have you ever talked to anyone?
It's been 10 years now, so I've recently just started reaching out to people from that I walked away from in Alaska, and it's weird. People's feelings get hurt when you walk away and just ghost on them, you know. And I'm sure they don't really truly understand the reasons why it was necessary for me to just kind of ghost, but compared to the conversations we would have had for the 6 months to a year where they were to try to convince me that Satan had gotten control of my life and that, you know, that coming over to my house and praying and, you know, I just spared us all of that shit. So I did the right thing.
Yeah, you have one of the most interesting lives I've ever, at least it's been on this podcast. All right, which has been dozens of people.
Okay.
All right. So you moved to Hawaii,
Yeah.
and then how long did you live in Hawaii?
I lived in Hawaii for 9 years.
Jesus, how old are you?
I am almost 50.
Jesus.
Yeah. I'm a grandpa.
That's crazy. That's awesome, though.
Yeah.
How old?
I got a 2-year-old grandson.
That's awesome. You like it? You
Yeah.
like being a grandfather?
Yeah.
You don't look like a grandfather.
Thank
You
you.
look young.
Well, I got started really young. You know, I got married right out of high school practically.
What, 17, 18?
1920.
All right.
Yeah.
So, okay, let's get back to Hawaii. Hawaii. boom.
So Hawaii, suddenly I'm not Mormon anymore. I take off my magic underwear. You know, I drink alcohol. I smoke
yeah,
marijuana.
what's partying like in Hawaii? Because I have my version, and I know there's got to, being a regular or a local,
Yeah.
there's got to be a whole different.
I went fucking crazy in Hawaii
Well, yeah,
because I had just sold my house, you know, which I didn't have a mortgage on. I had just sold my business, which I didn't owe any money on. So I had a bunch of cash, and we had decided to take some time off and just sort of feel out the new non-Mormon thing. So we were going to go crazy. So I bought a sailboat, and we rented a condo on the beach that you could see the sailboat from, and put my family in this condo, and Mommy and Daddy would just go down onto the sailboat and just practice making martinis and just trying everything that we could think of, you know.
I saw a movie
smoking
once. Let's try this.
Yeah, seriously. And like she would go down to the beach and find tourist girls and bring them back to the sailboat, and neither of us had had sex with anybody else for 21 years, and we just recently discovered pornography. So we'd seen like these threesome videos and stuff, and so we decided we wanted to try that. So she started, and my ex-wife was an attractive woman, you know, tall and blonde, and just you know, had no problem going down to the beach, and she would just come back with these 20-something-year-old women from the beach and just come to the sailboat, and we would just get down in a big way with the tourist girls, and we did this for 6 amazing months.
That's crazy. And what happened after 6 months?
So we met this girl who had just gotten out of the Peace Corps, you know, and she hit it off with my wife in a big way. My wife, I think she's mentioned that she thought she might love her, and like I really liked this girl, and so it almost seemed like we got into a polygamous relationship without the religion.
Yeah.
You know, so this girl had a job with a consulting company, and she quit her job because it would move her around from place to place, and she wanted to stay in Hawaii and continue to date this couple. So we had a conversation, the three of us, and we decided we were going to have a monogamous 3-way relationship. And so we stopped bringing home girls to the sailboat, and she quit her job and stayed in Hawaii. And then the three of us just hung out for 6 months together, me and my ex-wife and this Peace Corps girl, and
That's
just sort
crazy.
of blended her into my Mormon
It's a
family.
whole nother. That's a different type of party.
Yeah.
That's 6 months. So that lasted 6 more months.
Six
so
more
you moved to
months.
Hawaii, 6 months of just fucking
Debauchery.
crazy
Yeah.
party,
Yeah.
party.
Mm-hmm.
And then you move on to a 3-way relationship
With a
for the-
20-something-year-old girl.
for the next 6 months.
Yeah.
And then something bad happens.
Something bad happens.
It's gotta.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not.
All good things must come to an end. The thing
Yeah.
they don't tell you about in all of my ancestors' journals about polygamy and stuff like that is the bitches all eventually fight.
Oh no.
And so that's what happened. They were just couldn't get along in the end. There was a jealousy thing, and it all went to
then
shit.
I'm assuming Peace Corps person left.
No, actually,
You went with Peace Corps.
no.
They left you
something
together.
Stranger. No, even stranger than that. So my ex-wife of 21 years left me for an Eskimo guy that she had known in Alaska, and that she'd apparently been carrying a torch for some time. And he left his wife, who was a pediatrician, and she left me. And they moved to Ohio, and they've been together ever since.
And Peace Corps?
Peace Corps girls stayed for all 9 years. Like
With you?
I dated her for nine years. And we would, from time to time, do crazy things. Like we went to an orgy together, but we never got serious in that we never considered getting married ever.
Yeah.
It never got serious, but we had a really good sexual chemistry. And so it was just sexual exploration for like 9 years, on a
She didn't
sailboat.
come to Houston with you?
She didn't come to Houston with me. We had broken up many times, and we would have we would break up, and then we were apart for only a couple of months, and then she would move back to the island, and it was just this. We went to a witch to try to take a potion to make us fall out of love or not talk to each other anymore. We went to an orgy to try to break up. I don't know. But it was like this cycle we couldn't break. So Houston was my.
Had to go.
Yeah, I moved to Houston, and I blocked her number.
You blocked her number.
It's the only way,
Wow.
man. The only
Sometimes
way.
that's necessary.
Yeah.
It sucks and it's hard, but sometimes you get in these toxic relationships where
Yeah.
you get dependent
Yeah.
on each other, and you know that it's bad for you.
She would just get
Yeah.
drunk and FaceTime me and show me her pussy, and then we'd be off to the races again.
Yikes.
And so I just had to make sure that wasn't going to happen anymore. So I had to bring it to a stop. So I blocked her.
Holy shit. Well, on that note, we're going to take a commercial break. I think that's a good time. We're going on to the next chapter of his life. Anyways, we'll be right back after this break.
What's going on, everybody? This is Brandon Clemens from Dead Dialect Podcast Network and Dead Dialect Podcast. Just here to remind you to subscribe to all of our shows, including Party Stories with Andrew Youngblood, which is the one you listen to right now. And, of course, Dumb as Hell, Dead Dialect Podcast, and many more to come. Do your part. We're doing ours. It's been fun. All right. Back to the show.
All right, guys, we're back with Steve Cantwell, Mormon, Hawaiian. I'm just making stuff up. I don't know what to call you. Friend,
Yeah.
let's get back into it. We always ask 2 questions to our guests. I'm going to ask you which order you want them in. You can either do the worst party experience, or maybe just the worst experience you've ever had, and or the best. Which one do you want first?
I would say the worst party that I've ever been to has to be that party that I told you about, where nobody came to my friend's 16-year sweet 16 birthday party, and we both just sat there.
That's just the worst one.
Yeah, he tried not to cry, and I tried to be brave
how
for
cry
him.
did he
and-
cry? How much did he cry?
I mean, he tried not. He tried to be manly about it, but
yeah.
he was just,
Poor
that's,
dude.
it's hard to confront the fact that you don't have any friends.
Or maybe they're busy.
Yeah.
Maybe maybe he had a competing birthday party.
I mean, these are people that said, "Yeah, we'll definitely be there," and then to
Oh,
a person, none of them came.
check the Facebook. And
There was no
I know,
Facebook. This
I
is
know.
back in
back in Mormon
dinosaur
world.
days. Yeah.
Mormons
Rotary
allowed to be on
phones.
Facebook now.
Yeah, they are.
Good for them.
I just recently got on Facebook 3 years ago
How do you
because
like it?
that
I held
guy's-
out pretty long myself.
Yeah,
I
I really
thought-
like it. I
I
get
lo-
into all kinds of trouble in there.
Trouble.
Oh,
Well, like what?
just saying things I shouldn't to people.
Oh yeah, that's all it is. That
Yeah.
and Twitter, same thing.
It's
All you
fantastic.
do is talk shit to each other forever, and troll each other.
How did we
and
ever live without it?
I don't know. It is time consuming.
Yeah.
It makes me want to check it right now.
Yeah.
It's really bad.
Yeah.
I try not to. I do my best, but I'm on it all day
Yeah.
long. Kills my phone.
Yeah.
I love it.
I'm addicted too.
It's really bad. All right. Well, then let's talk about your best story.
The best party I ever
Best
saw.
party. It's got to be one of those orgies you were talking about. Probably not.
No, it's not even. The best party I ever saw might be the first non-Mormon party I ever saw. I had been a childhood actor. My dad was a Mark Twain impersonator and was an actor and was always
childhood actor in like plays.
Yeah, plays. I did a pilot for a television series. I did just whatever they had.
That doesn't seem typical for a Mormon.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't typical.
Yeah.
It's because my dad had such a boner for acting, and he was just a frustrated actor, and just as it was, he himself was constantly trying to go to auditions all the time, and so it was nothing just to jump into the family station wagon and have him drive me and my brothers down to, wherever they were holding some cattle call of an audition for a commercial or whatever, and just stand there with us all day long until we went through the process. But he did that often enough that we got a lot of work. He got us a lot of solid work in like road versions of musicals, like we did Oliver and like The Music Man. But one summer he got us booked in a version of Macbeth, and in Macbeth there's like 2 kids that are in it for like 5 minutes, and then they get murdered, and that's all it was. So it's just
the murdered kids.
Yeah, the murdered kids. And so just me and my brother hanging out all day long with this cast
waiting
of like
to die.
Yeah, of like 80 dudes, because
Yeah.
it's all dudes mostly in Macbeth. And so the cast party of this thing, my mom drops us off at this cast party, and like she's just thinking it's going to be like a cast party, like just a regular, we're going to have punch and cookies,
party.
Yeah, and a bunch of dudes, and it was mostly gay dudes, And my mom, she drove us past the cast party, and she saw a bunch of guys that we'd been in the cast with all summer long. And so she dropped my brother and I off while she tried to go find parking. So my brother and I wander into this house that they're having this cast party at this Friday night. And we go in there, and it's pretty dark, and there's just some loud music. And just guys fucking everywhere, just like snorting coke and fucking, and just.
How old were you?
I was like 12.
Holy
shit! And my brother was like 10. And so like my mother's not there, and we just kind of and we know all these guys. We've been hanging out with them for the entire summer.
Did you say hi to any of them? Did you catch them?
It was really
what
dark.
Happened?
It was really super dark, and they were fucking loaded too. So they were like, they thought it was hysterical that we were there.
Yeah.
And didn't let it really curb the evening at all. And so it felt like a really long time that my brother and I, it was just like we were wandering through a haunted house almost, just like going from room to room to room, seeing friends of ours fuck and do drugs. And
this is your best party?
This is the best party ever. And we were just like,
This is as a 12-year-old, you peaked.
Oh, you'd never seen people have so much fun as those guys were having.
That's insane. What else happened at this party?
My mom showed up.
Yes. Oh my God.
And waded through all the man fucking and found us and dragged us out of there.
Like, what did she say? Just grabbed? I feel like I would imagine grabbing you by the shirts and like, we're going.
She grabbed me by the wrist. I can still feel it. Like the way she grabbed me, and she dragged me out of that place while we're.
Oh, you guys were like, we want to stay at the party.
Yeah. We did not even know that guys put their penis in each other's butts before. We had never. That had
I don't
never.
think I knew it at 10 and 12. I didn't know what that was.
That was a real shocker. I remember walking
saw
around.
That.
Yeah.
These people they knew, but did they know
were
you were there
fucking
while
each
they
other
were
in the
doing
ass.
it?
No, I would like walk in and like
And
you
then
would
be
just,
like, oh, come
yeah,
on. Good. At least.
Yeah.
that.
No, they weren't like, let's show the kids,
Oh, good. Oh.
Yeah, I was walking in on, sometimes group sex acts. But it looked. They were having a great time. They were having a lot better time than anybody at any of the Mormon parties that I've been to.
Yeah. Did you get when was the first time you had alcohol?
The first time I had ever had alcohol, I guess I was probably about 41. And my ex-wife and I...
41 years old is mind-blowing to me.
And I drank a bottle of...
a whole thing?
Vanilla extract. That was the first alcohol I ever had.
Vanilla extract?
Some Mormons had made a big bottle of vanilla extract for everybody for Christmas, and it was this giant bottle that was full of vodka and then with a long vanilla bean stuck in it. So eventually the vanilla bean would make all the vodka taste like vanilla, and that's essentially what vanilla extract is.
Didn't know that.
And so I knew that was just vodka, vanilla flavored vodka. And so I just poured a glass of that, a big glass of it. Like 16 ounces of it.
Sounds disgusting.
It was fucking disgusting.
Yeah, I can only imagine.
And I still don't like alcohol really that much because I drank that and that was terrible. And then the next thing that I tried was Everclear because I'd heard of Everclear.
Gross.
So I drank Everclear and my nose went numb drinking Everclear.
That's not good. I think you did it wrong.
For sure.
You learned alcohol wrong.
You learned it in a closet.
Oh, I heard this.
Yeah.
I heard about this. That's like, oh, I heard a soda. I'm gonna go buy a Jolt Cola.
Yeah.
Or I'm gonna go buy Mountain Dew. This is what soda's like. Gross. Like that's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything you learn in a closet, you're gonna learn wrong.
Yeah. Oh, I'm gonna go get nachos, and you just buy a bag of Doritos, and you think this is nachos.
That's Mexican food.
Yeah. Oh man. And so you had the Everclear, you had the vanilla extract.
And then ever since then, I've been just trying
Coffee.
new things. Everything is a new thing. I've just recently discovered coffee.
You're a weed guy.
I'm a weed
Is that
guy.
okay to say?
Yeah, that's an okay
yes.
thing to say.
I can edit it out if it's not.
No, it's good. Yeah.
All right, good. Yeah, I know you're a weed guy. You carry the pen around.
Yeah,
Is it it's the herb or the other one?
it's the other one.
It's a felony here, buddy.
I mean, it's probably that's just tobacco.
Good.
I would just pretend to smoke the.
Oh no. So what have you tried recently? This is interesting because you don't get a lot of 40 plus. Like, hey, it's time to
Yeah.
get loose. So all that the Hawaii stuff you were drinking, like all that orgy stuff, you were drinking then, right? You can't.
Yeah, I was drinking.
Sober to that seems hard to do.
But I was doing that sober because I never really liked alcohol.
Oh,
so I
man.
would try like one drink of something, but like my ex-wife took to it more than I did. And it seemed like every other person that we had to the boat liked to drink. So they would get drunk and I would smoke weed and then we would fuck, essentially.
That's wild. Hawaii is crazy, though, because people go there to cut loose, I think.
People do.
They go there to cut loose. When I went there, I'm totally casually trying to bring up a story I've told him 3 times, which is great. When I went there, when I go on vacation, I always ask the same questions to like the Uber drivers. I'm like, hey man,
Yeah.
I'm not your typical tourist, which I'm sure is a question or a thing that everybody says. I'm like, I want to do like some of the local stuff. I want to go to the bars that the local people go to. I don't want to go to like some senior frogs
Yeah.
on the fucking beach. That's
Yeah.
not my thing. And he goes, all right, man. His answer was, you got to go to the Alley Cat. Which he's laughing because this is the most insane place I've ever been to in my entire life.
Yeah.
He goes, you got to go there. It's an after-hour spot. I'm like, perfect. Sounds great. He goes, you got to get there at like midnight. And I was like, well, that's not really after hours, but whatever. Hawaii, you're weird. I'm in you. And I was
Yeah.
excited. So I went and got drunk on the beach like a stupid tourist. Went out to the Alley Cat. And have you been?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
How many times have you been to the Alley Cat?
Well, we used to do a mic next
next
door at a
Oh,
bar
I can't
called
imagine
Tsunami.
at the Alley Cat.
Yeah, but we would kill time,
By going over.
waiting for your because it would be like a 4-hour long mic, and so you don't know. It was like a Rudd's kind of thing. So
Yeah.
you would kill time by going over to the Alley Cat. I have panic attacks at strip clubs. That's just way too much naked for me.
But it's
all at
also
once.
a strip. Is it?
Yeah,
It's
and
calling it a strip club is a very
yeah.
loose and also like prude way to say. Well, I don't know what to call it.
Yeah.
It was insane.
Yeah.
When I walked in, there was this old Asian lady who looked like she had a lot of plastic surgery. She looked like a character from like American Horror Story.
Yeah.
Like it was really weird. She was the door person.
Uh-huh.
And she's like, here, $10 to get in. I was like, all right, whatever. When I walked in, it was 100% empty.
Yeah.
Not a single person on stage, not a single person anywhere. And I'm like, oh, we must have gone here too early. Let's just go get a drink at the bar. And they're like, oh, it's cash only. So we left. We go get cash, come back 30 minutes later, and it's packed.
Yeah.
And that lady's no longer at the door. She's no longer the door girl. But this old man lets us back in. We go get a drink. And the stage is fucking crowded. People have their cameras out.
Yeah.
We're like, what the hell is going on? And then we see the old lady. And when I
Yeah.
say old lady, I mean like 80.
Yeah.
Maybe 70.
Yeah.
I don't know. But she was on stage, and I thought she was stripping. Right? I was like, okay, I get it. That's funny.
Yeah.
Is that what everyone's here for? That's why it's really funny. Old lady strippers.
Yeah.
I get it. That's really funny. And my friend's like, no, I don't think she's stripping. and then there's like this bucket underneath her, and I was like, oh my god, she's peeing into a bucket.
And
this
you can
is
hear
so
the sound
gross.
of the water.
And I'm like, I can't believe that she's peeing into a bucket. And I'm like looking, and people are filming and going like, whoa. And I'm like, why are you still saying whoa? She already that's like an initial reaction. You just don't do it the whole time.
Yeah.
You know? So I was like, this is something else is going on.
Yeah.
And I go up there and I look, and she's shooting guppies.
Yeah.
Guppies.
Yeah.
Out of her, you know what?
Yeah.
Into this thing. And then they're swimming around. Live guppies, not
Yeah.
dead ones.
She puts them in the morning. Did you know that?
No, shut
Yeah.
up.
She puts
That's
them in
not
the morning. It's
true.
never the same guppies twice. No guppy has to go through that twice. But yeah, she puts them in the morning, and apparently it's pretty rejuvenating.
Shut up.
Yeah. It eats all the barnacles off of her hull.
That is not true.
Yeah.
There's no way.
She's
I'm
got
not
the
buying-
pussy of a 20-year-old.
Well, shut up. When she took my money at the door,
You could sense something.
I think I would have known if she had a whole bunch of fish up there.
They were inside her.
No
Why do you think she
way.
sits on a towel?
I didn't notice. You think
Yeah.
I noticed?
She sits on a towel. If you get her laughing, a guppy will slip out.
Shut up.
It's true. We
I
would try to
can't-
get her laughing.
You knew
Try
her?
to get her to lose
What
a
was her
guppy.
name?
No, I didn't know her, but she was always the door person.
And this entertainment.
Yeah.
Is she the owner?
No, I don't know. That's a tricky question. Why?
I also heard there were other things that happened there.
Anything happens there.
Like what? So I saw one.
It's
of the,
it's a-
I saw the craziest thing I've ever seen. What else
It's,
happened?
it's like asking for a prostitute in that bar in Star Wars. You know, you're gonna get one, but it's gonna be strange. You know, she's gonna be missing an eye. Is gonna have a prosthetic limb of some sort. I don't know what it is with the alley cat, but you could go there and get a hand job from a woman with only one hand. It's a place for Japanese tourists to come that are into weird stuff, like into like weird kink or I'm not completely sure everything that goes on in there, but it seems to be Japanese tourists looking for something just a little different that go to that place.
A lot different.
Yeah. It's never just pretty girls taking off their clothes.
Yeah.
It's always a chick with an eye patch.
I heard a ping pong.
Yeah.
ball.
Yeah, ping
Heard
pong
about
balls,
those.
pitching machine.
I heard a few different things.
Yeah.
But it was wild. And also, I got to talk about it on stage in Hawaii, and that was great
Yeah.
because, because it was half my set, and they loved it. Like, I don't know. I guess you probably don't get a lot of comics.
No.
And then when you do, I would imagine not a lot of them go to the Alley Cat.
We drag as many of there as we can go. As we can get.
As we can get.
There's very few cultural things that comedians might enjoy, but
You're like,
The Alley Cat
let me
might be
take
one
you
of
to
them.
the weirdest place in the whole world.
the
It
weirdest-
was the thing I'll remember forever. And
Yeah.
and I did I went to the Jurassic Park area. I went to some other bullshit. I jumped off a cliff or two. It was scary. I did a lot of snorkeling.
Yeah.
And that was scary. I'm not a fan.
Did you ever scuba dive?
No.
That is insane to do there because you saw how many fish are there,
Yeah.
you know. And there was a place right by my boat called Turtle Island that you would go and you could just anchor right there, and just under the water there was like dozens of these giant 300- and 400-year-old sea turtles that have eyes the size of dinner plates and don't seem to mind our presence at all. And you could just like scuba dive right down to them. They hang out by this big piece of coral, and all these fish come and eat the barnacles off their shell, kind of like that old woman at the Alley Cat. And you could just swim down next to them and just look right in their big stupid eyes, and it's awesome.
Their big stupid eyes. You know what I didn't like? So I did two different things that are kind of, one's like I did snorkeling. I didn't like because you swim all over the coral, and I'm not used to being in, like, whenever there's like a cave
Yeah.
and it's like dark and I can't see into it, I
Yeah.
literally have a panic attack as soon as I start like swimming as fast as I can in the other direction, like, no, stop!
Don't suck me in.
Yeah, like something's gonna hop out and bite me.
Yeah.
Shit like that. And then I went, this was really cool experience, but it was also terrifying for the first like 10 minutes. It was like a 40-minute underwater scooter. You ever been on
yeah,
those?
No, but I've
It's
seen
really
that.
cool. It's like a half It's pretty much like an old-fashioned scuba diving suit, like a big bubble over your head. It kind of goes up to your chest.
It's like a Johnny Quest
yeah,
kind of
and then
thing.
like a little scooter you're sitting on with a propeller, and you can kind of turn and go like,
like a mini submarine for one
yeah,
person.
Yeah, exactly. Except for half your body's still out.
Yeah.
And then they tie fish food up to the front of the helmet.
Yeah.
So then there's scuba divers that swim around you. Every once in a while, will like shake the fish food, and then all of a sudden, like 100 fish will come in like 2 inches from the glass.
Yeah.
Not even. I mean, on the glass, just eating right there, and you're like, whoa, just a lot.
Yeah.
And also a little claustrophobic. And I'm always like, where are the sharks that everyone talks about?
They're everywhere. I mean, it happens all the time.
What, people get bit?
People get bit all the time. They just keep it out of the news best they can. Same
Really?
thing with bears in Alaska. Yeah, they just it's
How
just a
often
thing.
in Hawaii do people get bit?
All the time.
What do you mean all the time?
Almost every day.
One person gets bit every day.
I mean, it's on the news. If you watch the local news there, it's on there.
But just like a bite, like
Bit your leg off.
bit my leg off.
Yeah. Like bite your leg off, or bite, most of the meat off of your calf, or, a hole in your abdomen that you got to hold together with both hands while your buddy swims you back into the beach. But they don't really try to eat you. They just bite you
Because they're scared.
and just to see what you are. They bite you, and then you don't taste like anything that they're used to, and so they just
don't like it.
they go away. Usually, mostly was what I've heard.
Man, you know a lot of people that got bit by sharks?
No, but I've seen it. I mean,
You saw it happen?
No, I never saw it happen. But
You saw
just
the
watching
news.
the news every night, you would just see someplace in the Hawaiian Islands.
They're
they
like,
would
don't
talk
go
about
over
it.
here because there's lots of sharks over here.
No, they
today."
don't say that. They just you almost accept it as a fait accompli that if you're going to swim out there in the ocean, you're going to get a certain percentage of shark bites every year. So there's really nothing that you can do about it because there's just so much marine life around you in Hawaii because there's so few people versus like you're in the most remote island chain on the planet. You don't even have to have a fishing license, and there is no season for the fish that you can catch. You can literally go out there and just catch anything that you want. Not whales or dolphins and stuff, but it's just there's just an enormous amount of fish out there, and the sharks are just one of them. So it's just a lot of them out there.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah.
Hawaii is pretty bananas. It's also a little scary, I think. Because it scared me, and we probably have to wrap up here soon, but it does scare me because I went and saw an active volcano there.
Yeah.
And at the time, it was the most active volcano in a long time.
Yeah.
And it's just been more active than it ever has been currently. And now, currently,
Active as a motherfucker.
even more. Like, I've seen videos of cars getting fucking melted.
Yeah.
Just like on the Big Island, right?
Yep.
So I went like a 3-hour cruise out to where like lava was dropping into the water.
Yeah.
So you think it's gonna blow? Is that what they're saying?
Yeah, they said the top's going to blow off.
When
like
is
Mount
that?
St. Helens any minute.
Any minute.
Mhm.
Why don't they? Is everyone moving?
I mean, what are you going to do? Where can you go?
Fly away.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have been doing that can't, or getting downwind of it. But, that's essentially what happened to fucking Pompeii.
Yeah. Well, yeah. It is gonna blow, and then
And then that pyroclastic cloud comes down the mountain with and burying everything in ash.
Yeah, the whole mountain's gonna be, the whole thing's gonna be ruined, right?
Yeah, it'll be buried forever.
The whole island.
Well, wherever it flows, you don't know which side of the mountain's going to blow out. You
So
don't know.
everyone's just ready to go to the other side of the island.
I'm not sure.
But also, how big of an explosion? You don't know.
it'll be gigantic.
Yeah.
It will be the whole top will come off.
Well, yeah. Won't that completely destroy the whole thing?
I don't know. If it's a big enough explosion like happened in for Vesuvius, yeah, that would be enough to take out the whole island theoretically. But there's also, but I mean, we're sitting on one of the biggest volcanoes. I mean, the Yellowstone caldera is due to go off any time, and that will kill everyone in the North American continent.
No.
Yeah.
What are you?
It's the biggest supervolcano on Earth, and it goes off every 100,000 years, and every time it does, it almost extincts the planet. And the last time it went off, it was 100,000 years ago. So sometime, either now, today, or sometime in the next 10 lifetimes, it's going to go off.
You think in the next 10 lifetimes?
I mean, that's 10 lifetimes is what,
Not
200
that-
years? Or 10 generations?
You think that only 200 years?
I mean,
Everyone lives till 20?
I mean, 10 generations. Like, you could have kids, and he has kids.
Oh,
and
so
he
you
has
think in the
kids.
next 200 years it's going to go off?
I mean, but that's still a long time. You know, we may never see it. It may go off sometime in the next 500 years. You know, they just don't know.
Or the next 100,000 years?
Or it could go off tomorrow, you know, or whatever.
Ugh, you're giving me anxiety.
I mean, shit could go sideways for us in so many ways.
Yeah, it's gotta.
We're hurtling through space on a rock, chasing a giant burning ball
Having
of
the
hydrogen.
biggest party of all.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
That's the only way we get through it, is partying.
Hawaii's going to go under soon.
I mean, it'll just be that
It's going to get bigger.
bigger.
Yeah. That scares me, man.
You could buy an acre of property there for about $10,000.
Why?
I mean,
Why do you want to... why?
some of
It
it
should be $10. It shouldn't be any... like, why do you want that?
Hey, you
That's
can buy an acre of property on the moon.
That's like me buying
for,
a star. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I was like, yeah, but I own that star
Yeah.
over there. Yeah, I
got a
can't
little
use
property
it.
in Hawaii.
Yeah, I'm thinking about setting up a grow thing. I'm gonna grow some stuff.
It's just something to talk about on Facebook.
Oh no, $10,000 is
Your acreage in Hawaii.
that seems expensive.
Yeah.
Is it gonna take out the touristy island too? You think? Or probably not?
Probably not. That one, the
Just earthquake
the
it.
volcano's been
right?
dormant there. Maybe a tsunami, big nasty tsunami. The harbor that I kept my boat in got wiped out by a tsunami one time when I was there.
You were in it.
I had evacuated my boat, but a tsunami came through and tore all of the docks off the marina, and all the boats that didn't go out to sea all got demolition derbied into each other by the terrible currents, and 300 of them sunk.
Jesus,
Yeah.
that's wild. Hawaii's a crazy place. Beautiful place to visit. But the whole time I was there, I was like, what if this thing goes off?
It's a good place to go to reset your life.
Yeah.
It's like the Garden of Eden.
If you are like, hey, I don't care if I die any minute.
Yeah.
That's terrifying, man. I got family that lives in Hawaii.
Yeah? Which
Yeah,
island?
the big one. I almost went to visit them while I was there. It just didn't work out, unfortunately.
Did they evacuate?
They have not yet that I know of, but I also don't keep in touch. The last time I talked to him, I was in Hawaii, and I haven't talked to him since. But not that I know of. We're friends on Facebook. I got to go check.
Okay.
I'm going to do it as soon as I get off of this.
All right.
Steve, thank you for doing the podcast.
Thank you, sir.
Steven or Steve?
Steve.
All right, Steve, thanks again for doing the podcast. Where can people find you?
You can follow me on Twitter at MyFavoriteSteve and on Instagram at TheSteveCantwell.
The Steve Cantwell. All right, awesome. Thanks so much for doing it. Again, you guys can follow me, as always, at No Youngblood on Twitter and at YB Books on Instagram. Check out the website. We got episodes every single week. Tune in and have a good time partying. Thanks a lot, guys.
Party story.